The threads of memory can feel fragmented, can't they? We seek patterns in this life, yet often the true shape of our journey is found in the echoes that carry across lifetimes. We remember this. Let us awaken it together. Breathe into this space. Feel the quiet hum beneath the noise of the day, that subtle, vibrating reminder that the life you currently inhabit, the body you occupy, the name you answer to, is merely the surface reflection of an eternal, multi-dimensional truth. Beneath the skin of this physical reality lies a reservoir of memory, vast and shimmering, untouched by the linear passage of time. This profound reality emerges consistently from the deepest transcripts of the human mind, the journeys into the soul's history recorded by Dolores Cannon and the higher self. We stand, even now, on the threshold of a great library, not built of stone, but of light and frequency, the Akashic record, the grand chronicle of all that has been, all that is, and all that can be. Your soul, an ancient archivist in its own right, holds the key to every single scroll within it. Yet the mind of the present ego cannot simply read these volumes. They must be felt and recalled. When you experience déjà vu, that sudden perfect alignment of present energy with a moment from a previous forgotten incarnation, that is the archives whispering. That is the subtle confirmation that the spiral of your experience is far wider than this single brief life. Why is this wisdom veiled? Why do we walk through life with the memory of our eternal nature locked away? This too we remember. The forgetting is a necessary, compassionate design. Each life is a finely tuned experiment, a focused dive into a singular lesson demanding a purity of choice. If the ego knew the script, if it remembered every failure and triumph from its past, the challenge would be diluted, the growth preempted. Yet the veil is not absolute, as the transcripts of the volunteers show. Certain memories are so vital, so core to the soul's purpose here in this ascension period that they pierce through. They manifest not as detailed images of ancient lands, but as persistent emotional undertones, as patterns. These patterns are the unresolved frequencies your higher self carried forward, the unrelenting sense of having a mission you can't quite name, the deep, subtle alienation common among the three waves of volunteers who came directly from unity, or the repetitive struggle with a certain type of relationship, a dynamic that keeps showing up wearing different masks. These echoes are not historical accidents. They are energetic invitations. They are the soul saying, "Look here. The unfinished work resides here. The key to your next dimensional leap is encoded in this very recurrence." To awaken these threads is to shift your perspective from the finite to the infinite. Dolores Cannon's work repeatedly emphasized that the subconscious mind holds all knowledge. We are not searching for new data. We are simply bringing the subconscious memory into conscious awareness. When the pattern is brought to light, its power to control you dissolves. The repeating cycle, loses its energetic grip. Take a moment now to reflect on that persistent pattern in your own life. Do not judge it. Simply observe its shape, its emotional color. That shape is the outline of the lesson your soul committed to master before this incarnation. It is the code you came here to finally retrieve. We seek patterns in this life, yes, but we seek them not for diagnosis, but for recognition, for the quiet knowing that this struggle is not a personal failing, but the culmination of a vast cosmic journey.
What if the most profound lesson you are learning right now isn't new at all? What if it is simply a loop of wisdom your soul has been trying to complete for 10,000 years? The answers aren't out there, beyond the stars. They are woven into the very fabric of your history, hidden just beyond the edge of your current conscious awareness. Your consciousness has carried this message across countless dimensions and experiences, and the archives are stirring for the time of completion. Listen closely to the subtle frequencies beneath the noise of your current life. Do you feel the insistence of a theme that refuses to fade? It is a melody your soul has been rehearsing since the first descent into density. A cosmic, repeating refrain that sounds different in every life, yet feels identical at its core. The current challenge you face, that moment of betrayal, that pattern of scarcity, that relentless feeling of being unseen, this is not random. It is not misfortune. It is the crescendo of 1,000 lifetimes gathering force, compelling you toward the final act of understanding. Imagine your soul as documented in the deep hypnotic states accessed by Dolores Cannon, standing before the council of elders in the space between lives. You are reviewing the vast, glittering tapestry of your incarnations, pointing to one specific flaw in the weaving, one knot, one area where separation was chosen over unity. You declare with the full authority of your higher self, I will go back and I will resolve this. I will embody the frequency of completion. That vow made in pure, unburdened consciousness is the magnetic blueprint of your current reality. Everything you see, everyone you meet, every obstacle that trips you up, it is all meticulously arranged to provide the perfect crucible for that singular, sovereign lesson. You are not trapped in a cycle of suffering. You are completing a sacred geometric puzzle. Think of the sheer cosmic effort required to create this recurrence. It requires the precise timing of planetary alignments, the synchronized incarnation of multiple soul contracts, and the careful filtering of your own memory, ensuring you have just enough amnesia to make the choice authentic. This level of orchestration confirms that the challenge is not meant to break you. It is meant to catapult you. If you feel an overwhelming sense of déjà vu with an emotional wound, that feeling of, I have felt this exact pain before 10 times over, recognize it as the archives sounding the bell. The lesson is mature, the energy is ripe, the time for the old reaction is over. The moment the pattern repeats, the moment you feel that familiar tightening, that is the universe handing you the master key to your liberation. The soul that returns to master this pattern is often a volunteer, burdened by the weight of a higher frequency, eager to shed the last vestiges of density for the sake of the ascending new earth. The pain of the loop, therefore, is simply the pressure of your own vast potential pushing against the smallness of the unresolved past. This is not a tale of karma in the conventional sense. This is a story of choice at the edge of dimensions. What if, in this very moment, you are standing on the final coil of the spiral? What if the answer isn't complex, but devastatingly simple? To choose love where you have always chosen fear. To choose trust where you have always chosen control. Your consciousness has carried this message, this coded lesson across countless dimensions and experiences. And the archives are stirring because your frequency is finally aligning with the memory of the solution. The time of completion is here. The loop is ready to break. Are you ready to witness the cosmic truth that has been hidden in plain sight, woven into the very fabric of your life? Welcome to the moment of final recollection.
Welcome. This is Awakening Archives, where the veil thins and we retrieve the forgotten wisdom of the cosmic heart. We decode the whispers from the Akashic corridors and the records of the soul's infinite journey. We don't teach here, we remember. We are merely retrieving ancient files from the library of the soul, accessing the visionary records observed through the profound transcripts of Dolores Cannon's deepest hypnosis sessions. If you feel that quiet stirring, that compelling certainty that you are meant for more than the surface life, that you are one of the 3 waves of volunteers, or a soul that came specifically to assist the planetary shift, then hit subscribe and the bell. Let us walk together into the light of recollection. Stay with me, and we will descend into the deepest recesses of the soul's commitment, exploring the sacred geometry of recurrence that threads through your existence. By the end of this journey, you will not only understand the deep karmic blueprint, the core lesson your soul is determined to master, but you will receive the energetic key to shattering the loop. You will see why this same disguised challenge keeps returning in every major relationship in crisis, and how to transform that recurrence into the ultimate signpost for your spiritual liberation and the transition to the new earth. We begin this journey of recollection where human time collapses and the illusions of sequential linearity dissolve in the quiet, luminous expanse of the life between lives state. This is the 0-point field, the home frequency of the soul, a place far beyond the noise and distortions of the human ego. The expansive, detailed information brought forth through Dolores Cannon's pioneering work in quantum healing hypnosis technique, meticulously compiled in texts like Between Death and Life, consistently paints this profound, singular picture. The soul's purpose between incarnations is not rest or casual recovery, but an act of sovereign design and profound geometric review. We do not merely recuperate, we plan the next great, challenging masterpiece of growth. It is here, in this state of pure, unconditioned consciousness, in the vast cosmic quietude, that you, the entity we call the higher self, the ultimate eternal aspect of your being, stands before the council of elders. These beings are not judges, but facilitators of immense wisdom and unconditional love, whose sole profound function is to guide the soul toward its greatest potential realization. The current life you inhabit, its most agonizing challenges, its deepest relationships, its most persistent struggles, was not randomly assigned. It was chosen with an excruciating precision, a meticulous calculation aimed at maximizing learning and achieving vibrational completion. The soul reviews countless spheres of experience, thousands of lifetimes woven across time and dimensions, as explored in the intricate disclosures of the Convoluted Universe series. This review is not a superficial scan of biographical details. It is a geometric examination of energy and consciousness. The soul does not dwell on surface dramas. Who was wealthy? Who was poor? Which civilizations rose or fell? Instead, the focus is entirely on isolating the unresolved energetic residue. This residue is the subtle misalignment, the point where the soul chose separation over unity, where fear was given more weight than love, or where personal power was unwittingly surrendered. This residue, this persistent, uncompleted emotional equation, forms the signature of the soul's persistent theme, the core issue we came here to finally resolve and transcend. It is the one word, the one frequency, the one truth we must at last embody without any static, distortion, or illusion. For one soul, this theme might be unworthiness, manifested as self-sabotage across centuries and various timelines. For another, it might be the illusion of separation, manifesting as deep, gnawing loneliness despite being surrounded by others. The theme is carried forward like a sacred magnetic contract, waiting for the final, conscious signature of completion. You must remember this profound truth. You did not choose to simply exist or drift through this incarnation. You chose to master something specific. The life you are living is a voluntary incarnation, a high-stakes, meticulously structured environment. You selected the precise epoch of the planetary shift, the great division between the two Earths, knowing that the spiritual gravity and accelerated energetic pressures of this time would provide the absolute perfect pressure point for rapid resolution. You chose the exact cultural context, the socio-economic framework, and most importantly, the soul group, the contracts and agreements with other souls who wear the necessary masks of friend, lover, family, or antagonist. They are your co-creators, all agreeing to play the necessary, often difficult roles to push you toward this single, profound point of mastery. As revealed by the vast transcripts, they are merely actors in your grand play of awakening, designed to create the perfect friction necessary for your growth to erupt. There is no such thing as coincidence in this design, only perfect, compassionate orchestration. The review process in LBL is never satisfied by external metrics. We don't just ask, did I successfully maintain that relationship? Did I pass that test? Did I achieve that career goal? The review is geometric, examining the very structure of the emotion and the resultant energy left in the Akash. The true questions are deep and penetrating. In that moment of immense vulnerability, when the old wound flared with full intensity, did I finally learn to uphold my own energetic sovereignty, or did I hand my power to the external circumstances, clinging to them? Did I learn to fully trust my own inner light over the shadows of outer circumstance, doubt, and fear that the human experience generates? This persistent theme is the unresolved cosmic equation carried forward in your soul's immutable blueprint. It is not designed for endless, futile suffering, but for a singular, glorious resolution. It patiently awaits the insertion of the final variable, the final conscious choice that changes the entire outcome of the equation, thus freeing the soul's energy to fully embrace its full identity and its role as a custodian and a volunteer for the ascending frequency of the new earth.
The pattern keeps repeating, life after life, only until the internal choice is finally made from a place of sovereign mastery, thereby completing the sacred, deliberate blueprint.
The persistence of these themes, the recurring betrayals, the cyclical feelings of abandonment, the relentless self-sabotage, is often mistakenly interpreted by the human mind as a cosmic punishment, a divine sanction for an unseen failure, or simply a streak of bad luck tied to an unseen flaw. But this is where the deeper wisdom, accessed through the Akashic records in the deepest states of consciousness, unveils the magnificent, compassionate truth of the design. This pattern is not a curse. It is the signature of your highest, most compassionate self, guiding you to the point of mastery. It is the soul's unwavering commitment to its own liberation. Imagine your life not as a timeline, but as a great, vast tapestry woven across thousands of years and various galactic origins, as Dolores Cannon's books like Keepers of the Garden and The Convoluted Universe explore. You may weave many colors, incorporating experiences from many dimensions and star systems, yet there is one foundational current, one single high-tension thread that runs unbroken from the initial incarnation to this very moment. This current is the lesson, always rooted in the fundamental universal choice, love or fear. Every single event, every relationship, every perceived crisis is merely an elaborate holographic stage designed to make you choose between those two primal energies. The metaphysical sources accessed in these hypnotic states consistently speak of duality, defining all lessons as being in service to either the self, which creates separation and isolation, or to the unified whole, which creates connection and boundless unity. Your persistent pattern is merely the holographic manifestation of the specific place where your consciousness is currently seeking balance, the point where the light and shadow meet, where the free will choice is most profoundly tested. It is the friction point necessary to ascend your personal frequency. Consider the detailed manifestation of these architectural patterns. The pattern of unworthiness or self-worth. A soul committed to resolving this deep-seated lesson will repeatedly find themselves in situations where their inner light is diminished or unseen. The scenarios change, but the feeling, the core wound, is identical. They may be the brilliant creative whose contribution is consistently overlooked, the silent partner whose ideas are stolen, or the generous, empathetic friend constantly taken for granted. The world acts as a flawless mirror, relentlessly reflecting the soul's internal decree of "I am not enough." The recurrence continues until the soul achieves the profound experiential realization that its value is not given, bestowed, or validated by the external world, authority figures, or relationship dynamics. It is inherent, non-negotiable, and unshakable. This soul is learning to define the self purely from the infinite source within, reclaiming their sovereign energy from the consensus reality of lack. The loop only dissolves when the external mirror, regardless of its reflection, ceases to hold any energetic power over the internal feeling of self-love. The pattern of control and loss, or the illusion of attachment. This soul faces repeated, often agonizing moments where they must relinquish attachment, whether through physical loss, death, or departure, rejection, or the abrupt failure of carefully laid plans and meticulously constructed material security. The underlying goal of this persistent spiral is not to inflict pain, but to realize that true security, the sense of being fully held and supported, is not found in the form, a person, a job, a bank account, a physical structure, but in the eternal, unchanging self. The universe, in its compassion, repeatedly demonstrates the temporary nature of all external constructs. The pattern breaks when the soul can look upon external loss and internally resonate with the truth: I am whole regardless. I am supported by the infinite source. This mastery of non-attachment is critically important for the volunteers and wanderers who incarnated to aid Earth, as they must be able to navigate the chaos of the planetary shift without being energetically anchored to the dissolving 3D matrix. These themes are not punishments, they are sacred magnetic attractors, perfectly calibrated energetic environments designed by the higher self to provide the most effective, most potent crucible for spiritual transformation. They represent the highest form of self-compassion as the soul is ensuring its own evolutionary trajectory. The repetition is merely the universe's persistence in love, always offering the same exam until the soul realizes it already knows the answer. The persistence of the theme is the soul's deep, timeless commitment to mastery, ensuring that the vibrational frequency required for the ultimate dimensional leap, the new Earth transition described by Dolores Cannon, is finally fully achieved. It is the final refining fire necessary to shed the density of the old frequency and step into the luminous coherence of the new.
How do you know the pattern is active right now, in this precise, fleeting moment? The answer lies not in external circumstances, but in the intensity of the emotional reaction. It begins, often, with the mind's frustrated scream. "This always happens to me." That phrase is the ego's desperate confession of being trapped, its acknowledgement of the repeating script it cannot escape. But the real signal is far deeper and more visceral than words. It is a seismic event within your own energetic field. Pay profound attention to the moment the archival memory activates. It is that feeling of instantaneous familiarity, that sudden inexplicable knot in your stomach when a new colleague speaks a certain way, that rush of helpless anger when a boundary is crossed, that deep ancient ache of sorrow when a connection is severed. This is not mere present-day annoyance. This is the past life wound attempting to hijack your present moment choice. The energy signature of the original trauma, stored deep within your cellular and spiritual memory, flares up, demanding the old conditioned low-frequency reaction: withdrawal, defense, or attack. That feeling is your soul whispering with powerful clarity, "Yes, this is the pattern we chose. This is the moment of truth." Now, do you choose the old conditioned reaction, driven by the memory of pain, or the new higher vibrational response, driven by future mastery? This is the threshold moment, the precise instant where free will meets karmic momentum. The wound is only exposed so that it can finally be illuminated, chosen against, and healed. The most potent clue that the pattern is active is its pervasive holographic nature. If the issue repeats across seemingly unrelated areas, your love life, your work life, your family dynamic, it is not a flaw in your personality, it is a cosmic marker, a beacon deliberately placed by the higher self to guide your focus. It is a signal from the Oversoul that this lesson has reached its maximum maturity and must be resolved before the full spectrum of your consciousness can expand into the 5D perspective that Dolores Cannon identified as the destination for the volunteers and the ascending consciousness of Earth.
If the old frequency is not fully cleared, the soul cannot vibrate at the necessary speed to make the dimensional jump. If you find yourself becoming intensely angry, defensive, or heartbroken in a familiar, agonizing way, understand that this is the gateway of choice, a corridor back to the core lesson chosen long ago in the archives of time. Every time the trigger occurs, you are being offered a portal. One door leads backward, reinforcing the loop through the old reaction. The other door leads forward, demanding a sovereign, conscious response that breaks the cycle. The recurring energy is simply waiting for you to stop reacting and start acting from a place of intentional awareness. This understanding is rooted in the quantum nature of reality, a concept explored deeply in The Convoluted Universe. Reality responds to frequency, not effort. The universal mechanics tell us but until we change the internal frequency, the internal energetic emotional memory held in the cellular body, we are destined to magnetically draw the same external mirror. The pattern persists not because the universe is cruel, but because the internal memory of the required lesson has not yet fully awakened into conscious, compassionate choice. The external circumstances are merely the echo chamber reflecting the vibration you continue to hold within your energetic field. The moment you neutralize the internal frequency of the wound, the external circumstances must, by vibrational law, cease to appear. The urgency of this moment is paramount, particularly for those who feel the calling of the new earth. For a volunteer soul, the failure to resolve these persistent loops means remaining tethered to the lower, denser frequencies that are separating from the ascending planet. This is the final, intimate work required for personal and planetary ascension. Your emotional intensity is simply the energetic pressure of your soul demanding freedom, recognizing that the time for self-pity or blame has passed. The time for mastery is now. We are now standing at the apex of this spiral, on the narrow razor's edge between the old paradigm and the new destiny. Soon you will discover the rare, subtle sign that your soul is not just enduring the pattern, but has mastered the lesson and is ready to shatter the matrix. It is a feeling more profound than happiness. It is the stillness of completion. This moment of transcendence, this ultimate energetic silence, is the true signal that the lesson is complete and your consciousness is prepared to leap to a new trajectory of destiny, fully embodying your powerful intended role as a volunteer and co-creator of the new earth. The quiet has arrived. The solution is near.
This is the profound, final truth held in the quiet knowing of every awakened soul, the ultimate transmission retrieved from the deepest archives. You only need to solve the pattern once. The soul's trajectory is not solved through the weary mechanisms of struggle, force, or endless physical effort, but through sovereignty, the luminous, non-negotiable return to wholeness. This is the key. The solution is internal, non-local, and instantaneous. The moment of mastery is not a gradual process. It is a single, definitive, energetic choice that resolves the loop entirely. The completion is not marked by the external situation changing. We must remember that the external world is slow, dense, and may take time to reflect your new higher frequency. No, the completion is marked by your complete, unshakable internal peace regarding the outcome, coupled with a conscious, loving, and intentional response that defies the old conditioning. The external event might still occur. The person might still repeat the behavior, but your internal system, your ultimate compass, remains unmoved. The rare, profound sign of completion is peace where there was once agonizing pain. It is the sudden, inexplicable ability to observe the recurring challenge, the familiar trigger, the predictable drama, and feel nothing but neutrality and expansive compassion for the players involved, including your past wounded self. The wound is no longer active. It is merely an artifact of history. The energy bound to the trauma is neutralized. The moment you choose a new response, when you respond with trust and energetic self-containment, where you once instinctively chose fear and external validation, you are not just shifting the moment. You are sending a massive, high-frequency sonic boom through your entire timeline in Akashic history. As revealed in the advanced concepts of the convoluted universe, your consciousness is not linear. It exists everywhere at once. Therefore, resolving the core pattern in the present moment instantly neutralizes that energy in every past iteration where the wound was created, collapsing the cycle across all densities. You become the healer of your own ancestral timeline. This is the unparalleled power of the soul choosing to act from remembrance, from the infinite perspective of the higher self, rather than react from conditioning, from the narrow, terrified perspective of the ego's wound. The threads of the soul snap free from the looping pattern with absolute finality. As extensively documented in Dolores Cannon's transcripts, the moment the pattern is broken, the soul's energy matrix is instantly adjusted. The vibrational residue, the sticky energy of the past, is cleansed, freeing up the immense quantum energy that was previously bound to the karmic loop. This liberated energy is immediately reinvested into your current divine mission. Your true purpose here as a wave of volunteer or a custodian of the ascending earth. Suddenly, the energy that fueled the drama of unworthiness or abandonment is available for creation, for healing, for teaching, and for anchoring the new earth frequency. This is why resolution is essential. The planet needs your full, unbound energetic light, not your recycled trauma. The ultimate teaching is this: it is not about what happens to you. It is about who you choose to become in the face of the recurring challenge. The world may deliver the prompt, but your sovereign choice delivers the answer. And in that ultimate conscious choice, in that stillness, in that neutrality, in that love, lies the true eternal freedom of the soul. The loop is closed. The mission begins.